Hello, hello. It's me, Oracle Brigette. I'm here on the live for some fresh light codes. Thank you for your patience. I know it's been a couple weeks, but I've had some things percolating. So let's add this pinned comments and we'll get to it. Yay! I made it! We're here! Ah! All right, well, if you haven't felt squeezed and pummeled and twisted and transformed by the most recent cosmic energy, you may be disassociating. If you haven't experienced some profound transformative or humble pie type moments in the past several weeks, then my love, you may not be in reality. So take a deep breath. Are you pretending like you didn't just go through some discomfort or a hard time? Make sure you are not pretending like something that you just went through that was highly uncomfortable, maybe even inappropriate, rude, who knows? Something transformative, something that has brought you into a new way of being, a new reality. Are you able to, hey, my love's going in, la la la. Are you able to just face it and say, oh shit, I went through a hard time. I just went through a hard time and I'm transformed. And I'm also not a victim. Can all three of those things happen at once? That's what this current energy report is about. Because the current cosmic energy for the majority of the collective who are going through a regular spiritual awakening and who are not being abused in this time, people who are getting to have the opportunity to not be abused, because it fucking sucks if you're in an abusive relationship. So some of these light codes I'm giving you, keep in mind they may not resonate if you're an actual victim, and know that anytime I reference victimhood, I'm talking about being in reality. So if when you're in reality you realize you're actually being abused, that's a thing, and maybe we'll speak on it a little later. But right now I really want to speak on how. Hey my loves, come on in. We're doing fresh light codes, okay? Fresh light codes, it's a fresh energy report. So we just went through a kind of purge, you could say, or a spiritual rebirth, or the potential for a spiritual rebirth. And I don't often use the word should, but I truly feel that we should be able to acknowledge where we may have felt uncomfortable in the past couple weeks, where we may have felt like we went through something. That's a good thing. Where we may feel like we have gone through something, okay? It was difficult, it was challenging, and I survived. Even if it was just psychological, even if it was just mental or emotional, even if no one understands why it was so challenging for you. This is about your personal experience, so you don't need anyone to validate if it was challenging or not for you, right? Thank you for the love in the comments. My loves, I'm getting to a point, and I haven't really reached it yet, or maybe if you're a little clairvoyant, you probably already know the point I'm trying to make, but I'm taking my time because I just want to make sure that those of us who are not impatient don't stick around. Because if you're not patient, you don't get to do any of this stuff I'm talking about. So by taking my time to get to the point, we weed out those who, It's important to me that we can acknowledge when we go through something uncomfortable, something potentially transformative, something that has changed us. Even if it's a small thing. It's important that we can acknowledge these tiny victories for our own self. We don't even need anyone else to validate that this was a victory for ourselves. Hey George, love you babe. We don't even need to validate that for ourselves. Okay, listen. Now you're ready for the message. I can feel it. I kind of had to circle in a little bit until the whole gang was here, but I feel like you guys are here. Everyone's ready. All right. These are fresh light codes. Very fresh. Mostly channeled from within for me, so I want you to know I feel a little vulnerable, as I always do when I get to this moment. So please don't ask me any questions in the comments. Now's not the time. Please hold space for me in the comments, and if someone's giving weird energy in the comments, please stick up for me in the comments, because we're in this together. And and I'm about to use my magic to tap into the collective energy and the cosmic energy and to channel message from the divine, from source. I haven't done it in a little bit. I've been stalling because I've been getting a lot of downloads, and I've been integrating and going through my personal life, and it's been a lot. So I've been stalling about going live with you guys because I really thought the Lightcodes at one point would like solidify. And I took out my notebook before I went live. I was like, ooh, let me write some notes. Let me pre-channel. And Spirit's like, Brigette, stop. Just do what you do, honey. That's what Spirit was saying. Just do what you do. Just sit there, click live, and channel a fucking message. I was like, okay, Spirit. Okay. So, shall we? It's like once I say what Spirit says out loud, I'm like, nah, I have to be really accountable. A lot of us are a little bit disassociating and pretending like what we just went through in the past month didn't impact us profoundly, even if it was on just a spiritual or a psychological, mental, emotional level. It's important that we can be with ourselves and be present enough to be able to say, ooh, I went through that, it was uncomfortable, and I survived unscarred, unharmed. Not even technically a survivor because I don't even identify as a victim in this circumstance. I mean, another version of me maybe would feel hurt or weakened, but I actually feel fine. And a lot of us, because we feel fine, we're like, oh, it was nothing. It was probably nothing. The last couple weeks. Nah, I was probably just being dramatic. I was just being hormonal. It wasn't that bad because I actually feel pretty good now. Take a deep breath. Please don't gaslight yourself like that. Please don't minimize yourself like that. All the discomfort and personal growth work that you just did in the past few weeks, please be proud of yourself that you made it through the other side of that personal growth work into the clarity and into the peace, if that's what you are feeling right now. And if you're not accessing that clarity and that peace yet in this current cosmic energy, it might be because there's still a little uncomfortable energy that you are holding on to because you're not ready to feel it. So before I get into this next part of the light code about this holding on to the uncomfortable energy, let me close out this first light code, okay? So I started this light code off by saying, I hope in the past few weeks you can identify at least one challenging moment, a moment that really transformed you, opened your mind, or you feel was uncomfortable. I hope that is the case. Because if you don't, I'm saying you might not be in reality. Because we all did, because of the cosmic energy. We all went through a purging, a potential rebirthing. We don't want to gaslight ourselves about all the work we just went through on a spiritual, emotional, and psychological level. We do not want to minimize ourselves and say, because I feel fine now, it must not have been that much. Right? That's important. Because I'm good, it must not have been that bad. Or maybe you were just destined to live beyond that moment. Maybe those moments are not meant to define you. They were just meant to help you have clarity about what reality is. And it's also important that I keep picking up my coffee. Let me drink it. There is a 3 to 6 year period now that we're walking into where we're going to have multiple different dimensional versions of reality functioning on one physical plane. This means people with many different beliefs who speak many different languages, even though the words sound the same, on the same physical plane, interacting on the very close quarters, believing completely different things, having completely different belief systems, being willing to do completely different things because of their different vibratory levels of resonance that they're vibrating out. And for the next 3 to 6 years, there are going to be people who are accessing more fifth dimensional energies, and there are going to be people who are closing out their third dimensional karma. There's really no rush. Time really waits for us to go through and complete whatever we need to complete. So as long as people want to stay in the matrix in 3D, whatever terms you use, asleep, whatever terms you use, they can and they will. It's not your responsibility, right? But that's we talked about that in our past videos. We already know that we're sovereign. We already know that the least we can do is respect another person's sovereignty and never try and change them, and instead hold space for them to bloom and be who they're meant to be. We already know that. We're sovereign. And so no person on the outside can tell us who we are or what to do, because we innately know from soul, from spirit, from source, from within, right? We already know we're sovereign, so we are not attached to any being on the outside of us, nor do we depend on any adult that is outside of us besides our own self to be a certain way or do a certain thing in order for us to be good. No. I'm good for myself. I'm happy, self-sourced. I do not have any attachments to anyone on the outside. I do not need or depend on anyone in this cosmic energy to fit any of my expectations. Unless, of course, we have some consensual contracts me and this person have discussed already. Some boundaries we've worked out. You know, in relationships, there are actual expectations that are high vibrational because there are some contracts, whether it's verbal or whatever. And there's also some basic expectations about social contracts as well. With that said, if someone decides to break it, it's actually still not your problem. Their choices. Your problem is what you do now that you are more informed about who they are. And as we continue to get more data, we move forward in a way that is more informed. Not judging, not trying to change people, not trying to make someone accountable. The fuck? If they wanted to be accountable, they would. You can't make someone be accountable. That's impossible. You are not God. You cannot illuminate like that. I wish it was so. I used to try it too. It's quite freeing realizing that's not my job. Because it's like you might not be able to awaken someone, but like that's not saying they're never going to awaken. They might awaken one day and then meet you in 5D. That's why we don't want to burn bridges anymore. So we need to be okay with sitting with our own uncomfortable experiences and knowing that we've been through uncomfortable experiences, that we've witnessed darkness in the physical, we've experienced the darkness from other people, we've fucked up, and we've witnessed other people fucking up, and we've witnessed other people fucking up and it affecting us in a way, or affecting how other people work with us. We bear witness to the shadow component of reality, and it's important that we can be okay with that. Okay? We can't be so judgmental with these uncomfortable experiences, with the shadow component of reality, my loves. Because thanks to the shadow, the light may shine. Thanks to the shadow, which supports the light. The shadow's like, don't worry, babe. I'll be here in the dirt, dirty, covered in mud, in the muck, so you can shine, my son. I will be down here. The dark is like, I will get as dark as you need light, so you may shine. And the light gets bigger and brighter, and still the dark holds more and more space. This is one component of the fifth dimension. I'm not sure if you were aware of that. That is the new reality, and that is the case. We have a very beautiful relationship, us lightworkers, with the dark, because we do not judge it and we appreciate it, because it continues to yield to us and support us, and never demands that it take over our space, while it constantly yields to us and provides us more space to illuminate. I am so grateful for that dark. And so that's why, let me bring this around to the first light code, right? I'm trying to close out this light code and it just keeps getting deeper, but you know how this stuff goes. That's why I say we want to be comfortable sitting with the uncomfortable experiences we've experienced. I feel good right now. I'm okay. Even though I did go through some uncomfortable shit a couple weeks ago. And I also don't identify as a victim from those experiences, even though I do feel they had an impact on me. I do feel I change the way I go about myself and reality. I feel I have more data on reality and how reality is, so I can navigate in a more effective manner that is in alignment with spirit, now that I understand more from what I went through, the discomfort I experienced in these past few weeks. I'm willing to acknowledge that and also not make myself a victim to it, but feel more informed, empowered, and moving forward. We don't feel empowered or like we can move forward when we get data, but we have attachments that are different than what the data is giving us. So we have an experience. Reality gives us data, and we're like, but that doesn't fit my expectation. But that doesn't fit what I want this person to be. But that doesn't fit how I need this person to be. Well, sucks for you. Not them. Sucks for you. You got to release your expectation. God's working on them. What the fuck are you doing working on another person? Unless you're a therapist and they're like paying you for this, you're not God. You hold space for a person, love a person, support a person, commune with a person, but like, if you get more data about a person based off of facts they tell you about themselves, choices they make, behavior, or an organization, or an environment, or a group, you know what I mean? It's gonna be anything. A form, an art form, a sport, who fuck knows? This is anything. This is a light code, so take it as energy. Spiritual guidance, if you will. Take it as a spiritual guidance. All right, Brigette, focus. I'm sorry to start telling jokes. Brigette, get it out. Finish this fucking light code. Ah! Sorry, guys. Thank you for your patience. It's the caffeine. Just really no caffeine. The reality we're stepping into now is going to have a lot of darkness all around us all the time, and we got to be okay with it. And so first we got to be okay with the darkness in our own lives. And the universe will not open us up to really realizing the truth about reality until we can handle the darkness in our own lives. Because if we're opened up to the darkness of reality for real, what's like really going on, really, the veil lifted, your spirit, which is the universe, knows that you will have a fucking mental breakdown, so it waits. And that's fine. We live in a benevolent universe. Nothing is going to happen against your will. Hence why it's your willpower and your will that will cause you to not be accountable and disassociate and miss the whole fucking train for the first wave because you went through a transformative experience, and then after going through it you gaslit yourself and minimized yourself and said, no, it wasn't that much. I was just being hormonal. Because what you do is you build a track for you to go back to the way you were before you went through the uncomfortable experience, because you do not view the uncomfortable experience as transformative. So you don't actually learn the fucking lesson. So what you do is you set yourself up to have to learn the lesson again, because maybe next time you'll learn the lesson, the universe says. And she can't pass through the doorway, he can't get through the next thing, they can't get through the next passageway until they learn the lesson. So they're just going to have to keep, I hope they get it eventually. So those of you who got to take this message today, there's part 1 of the light code. Okay? If it was uncomfortable, if it was transformative, you do not need anybody's external validation for how it was transformative for you. If it was, then honor it and move forward transformed. Be in communion with your spirit. Be the representative of your spirit. That is your job, to advocate for your spirit. An advocate for your spirit, to advocate for your spirit. Take a deep breath. So I hope you can feel the importance of really acknowledging our transformative experiences and how that's integral for processing these light codes and downloads that we're receiving and integrating the lessons, the spiritual lessons that we're learning, so that we can move forward in a transformed manner rather than consistently keep stepping backwards into the way we were and just experiencing a lot of repetitive patterns unnecessarily. Take a deep breath. If any of those light codes resonated and you would like for them to integrate further in this moment, say, and so it is. And so it is. Thank you, Spirit. 18 minutes, la la la. 18 minutes, la la la. 18 minutes, light codes. Ah. Human had to wait to do her happy dance. She had to wait a whole 18 minutes for a happy dance. So thanks for being here, and I love you, and I love you, and I love you. I have a little more to say. I just have to get that first part out. I hope it helped. Hope it helped. I'm gonna have to drop right back in a moment. In a moment, my darling. Oh, kitty, you're here? Aww. Okay. So I actually told you a lot. That was really chock full. Because I also told you about the attaching to other people, so we don't have to talk about that anymore. And I also talked to you about how the new reality that we're stepping into, we are still going to be witnessing much perceived darkness around us and in the people in our lives. And if we are still judgmental and gaslight our own selves about the darkness that we go through, then we will be judgmental and gaslight the people in our lives about the darkness that they go through and the darkness in the world. And so spirit will not give you access to see. Why would you want to see? So you can get more data. So you can navigate more in alignment with spirit, and more in alignment with spirit, and more, and more, and more, and more, and Don't you deserve an orgasmic life? I feel it is your birthright to have an orgasmic life. I mean, isn't this all we're doing right now in this life, is we're just building up the tension? It's building. I can feel it. This is an adult program. I put it in the title. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Okay, I want to switch topics. More light codes, more energy report, energy updates. Oh my god, and I think we're going to get some kitty vibes too, so that's great news. Pollita linda. That was pretty little chicken. Pretty little chicken. All right, kitty, you lay down and then I'll start the light codes. These are my new pants. Don't put your nails in them. Did you guys hear that? That was a nail that went right in the pants. Kitty, lay down. Lay down. She's gotta get comfortable. I really can't rush her. She's gonna, find her. Actually, that's an example of me too. Let me prepare for this next light code. And she lays down. Okay. So if you booked a reading with me in the past week, some of the people who have had readings with me in the past week, personal ones, I have told them this because this is a fairly fresh light code that I do know that has been able to assist me in the readings that I'm now going to share with you guys. Or like if you've been in the Goddess Circle or what we call our Thursday meditation, this might be something I brought up there too. Oh, I have so much to tell you guys. Thank you, Spirit. So let's get right into it. Oh, I wish you could see my little cat baby's face. Because that would be cute. Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit about spirit guides. Spirit guides. When we were all in the third and fourth dimension, we had fifth dimensional spirit guides, or rather our spirit guides, you could say, or angel guides. Some people call them angel guides, angel teams, spirit animals, totems. Would visit and assist through the fifth dimension. But since we have upshifted into the fifth dimension, all beings that used to visit us through the fifth dimension, they also got upshifted into the next dimension. So this is why when we upshifted into the fifth dimension here recently, we didn't see angels just walking around in a manner that maybe some people were saying we may. That'll happen closer to like maybe when we're passing through the eighth dimension. That's okay. Most of us will be alive for it, which is nice. But anyways, for the current cosmic energy, I want you to know that your spirit guides didn't leave you. If you feel like maybe they're separated from you or they just don't seem to be like as close to you at this time. What I want you to know is humanity, earthlings, in triggering their shift into the fifth dimension, finally emanating enough light so that the fifth dimensional shift could click in and so that Earth could start experiencing the golden age of herself, the golden age of Gaia. Since this shift has happened, it really sparked a domino effect and a shifting in vibrations for every other being. If you don't believe in angels and archangels and maybe other species of aliens and stuff like that, sucks for you. Sounds like a real boring life. But if you do, then I want you to know that each and every one of those beings has now evolved. Every dimensional being has evolved since we chose to upshift into 5D. This was why they were also always trying to help us, which is why some people choose to channel external beings to help, because those beings are like, yes, please, humans, get it together so we can shift up too. We're waiting for you. Humans, we're 1D, 2D, 3D, come on. Like, we were at the bottom rung, the human body. Earth is soul school. God could have had your soul incarnate. You and God could have incarnated you in any type of being's body. Incarnated you into this time on Earth. Let me not tangent, but let me just say it's divine. Okay? I can feel in my heart I have so much I want to tell you guys. Brigette, please stay on topic. So it's not that your spirit guides have left you. It's just that now you are resonating in the realm of the spirit guides. So you have access to more of your own soul in a way. And you have access to be led from your own soul in a way. In the way that you needed your spirit guides to communicate with you through the fifth dimension to give you clarity in navigating the third and fourth dimensions in a way that is in alignment with spirit and with your well-being. Now that you're actually in the fifth dimension, you can count on your own spirit, you can count on your own self to connect into yourself to, again, assist you in navigating in a way that is in alignment with your own self. You don't really need the third party of your spirit guides so much, because you're here now in the fifth dimension with your own spirit, and God's right there. You know? We're humans. We fuck up sometimes. We have emotions. I was just gonna say it again. We fuck up sometimes. Spirit guides can come in handy for those moments. It's okay. That's the point. We live in a co-creative reality. Humans don't create everything. The universe does surprise us on purpose. Plus, there's the whole quantum fields multidimensional reality component, that there's a infinite, parallel dimensions available to us at all times for the sole purpose of our ability to manifest, so we can constantly be shifting and nuancing our own vibrational level. And because of that, we constantly get to experience a different version of reality. Gloop, next dimension. Gloop, next dimension. Gloop, next dimension. Gloop, 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 gloop. That's someone raising their vibration really fast. Gloop, 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 gloop. But Brigette, how can a person change dimensions when they're in one place? That's a great question, whoever just asked me that telepathically. So let me close out the Spirit Guides light code, and then I'll answer that telepathic question you just asked me. So, no, your Spirit Guides didn't leave you. They are still there for you if you need them, la la la. If you like to meditate with them, whatever things you like to do with your Spirit Guides. Can you tell I don't do a lot with my Spirit Guides in that way? I'm like, whoa, you're scary. Just kidding, I'm not as afraid of my Spirit Guides. They're just very strong. So, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm not fucking asking too much. Like, God is nicer. Source energy, Elohim, the Elohim source energy, way nicer than some of our ancestors. Some ancestors come in harsh and strong, kicking your ass, and God's will come through so pure light, like, it's okay, baby, I got you, baby, you're so good, you're so good, baby, I made you, I love you, I made you, I love you. That's God. Ancestors are like, bitch. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have come to you, I didn't know I was gonna. But they're all there for a reason. So anyways, they didn't leave us. We still have access to them if we need. But at the same time, we're now in the fifth dimension. We're in the realm of the spirit guides. So we are our own spirit guides. So please know that your spirit and your soul has upshifted into the fifth dimension. And you have really created a domino effect. We as mankind in upshifting into the fifth dimension. This has triggered the domino effect and all other dimensional shifts for every other being. They all went up a notch too. So yay for that and yay for us. Okay. Next, the earth plane, this physical plane that we're on, is like a canvas. And the way that mankind is the creator of reality, it's because whatever dimension you are perceiving is what is technically hologrammed onto this physical plane. Hologrammed, projected, you could say. What is the projector? I know this is strange, but it's your perception. Whatever your vibration is, whatever emanational frequency is coming off of your body, is also coming into your mind and affecting your perception. And that's how your frequency determines what dimension you are perceiving. Your frequency determines which dimension you are perceiving. Yes. So because your frequency determines which dimension you are perceiving, when I'm vibrating in certain vibrational frequencies, I'm going to perceive one version of reality, and as soon as I shift to my vibration, I am perceiving another version of reality. But I never changed my physical location. I changed my vibration, and so I got access to perceiving a different parallel dimension. My own mind's eye was able to project a different reality onto the physical plane. That's how I can shift vibrations, and I'm still here with my cat. I'm right here, raising my vibration, going through the Akashic records, passing through all the different, like a fucking catalog, raising my vibration up. And then I start to think negative. Oh fuck, no, reverse the train, brain, stop that shit. It's all good. We are experiential beings. Sometimes we need to learn through lessons, through messing up, through making mistakes. So when you mess up, when you make a mistake, please acknowledge it, learn from it, and transform from it. Learn the lesson so the universe doesn't force you to make the mistake over and over and over again, because you will for the rest of your life if you keep denying it. I know I already gave you that light code at the beginning, but it needed to come through again a little stronger. My goodness, that was strong. My goodness. Damn, kitty. You put your nail in my pants. You can't sit with me again. You're gonna have to sit next to me now. Yes, I love my shirt. If you don't love it, that's okay. I hope you hate it, so no one dresses like me. 'Cause I'm an Aquarius, and if you start to dress like me, I'ma hate it, and then I'ma have to change my whole aesthetic, and that would suck. But it would also be divine, and I'd be cool with that, so fuck it. Fuck it. I'll be the new trendsetter again. Think about it. The 90s is coming back in style, and we grew up in the 90s. Those of us who are in our early 30s. Like, come on. The little ones are, as long as we just go back to dressing the way we always wanted to dress, which was like the 90s, because we grew up in the 90s, all the little ones are going to be like, oh my God, how did you get that look so well? You'd be like, well, sweetie, I was here in the 90s. I watched Charmed. And Friends. Actually, I didn't watch Friends. I was technically too young for Friends. There's too many sex jokes. Love the whole outfit. Oh, thanks, babe. It actually has the shirt underneath matches it. A little crop top. And it comes with a matching mask. So that I can frolic around Miami. The whole fit. Ooh, big eagle. Gorgeous omen there, my darling. Right now, all I'm doing is just being happy. Tapping into spirit, being happy. I feel like maybe I had something else to say. I hope you guys were able to receive that quick little light code about how the earth is a canvas or a screen. And then our third eye projects the version of reality, or the dimension. The third eye determines which dimension we perceive, because all dimensions exist in the one plane space. You change your vibration, you change, the veil lifts. You experience with a different version of reality. It's your perception. Change your vibration, it changes your perception, it changes the dimension that you're interacting with. What's the first thing you notice when you change your vibration? You get more ideas, your mind opens. You suddenly have access to more ideas, more solutions, more opportunities, more options. Where you would have previously given up, now you've got more options. So you raise your vibration. Oh, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that either. We had music videos on TV. I know, it's crazy, I think. That was a thing. feel like I had another thing to say, but I just kind of feel like a little giddy and happy. Like I got a lot of good light codes out, and I'm glad I did this. Oh, I was nervous. I don't know why I was so nervous when I go live all the fucking time. I was nervous because I could feel the responsibility that comes with the light codes. That's what it is. These are really important light codes. I've been stalling to get these light codes out to you because I knew that they're a big deal. These 2021 light codes, they do feel very potent. They do feel very transformative. They do feel like they have the potential to be transformative if I'm able to deliver them in an effective manner. I think, that's where I'm grateful that I'm a professional in a way. Well, an educator. You could say I'm grateful I'm an educator. I think that's probably where my nervousness comes through, is I just understand the responsibility and the care. So I want to make sure I deliver it in a way that is clear. And I hope I fulfilled that mission. You did. Oh, well, yay. Thank you. Great. I'll rewatch this video eventually. So congratulations, and I'm proud of you. We've gone through a lot in the past month. It's been a lot of squeezing and compression and discomfort. And if you made it to the other side, I'm proud of you. And if you think you didn't make it to the other side, there's still time. There's still time. But you've got to start learning your lessons. You've got to start learning your lessons. You've got to start apologizing if it's needed. Or learning who doesn't deserve an apology. Whatever lessons, there's more than just lessons about apologies. It's important that you do not gaslight yourself or minimize yourself at this time. It's very important that you truly acknowledge your uncomfortable moments, and then instead of immediately saying, because it was so uncomfortable and I'm changed, I must be a victim. Some people may be a victim. Again, remember, this is, if you're actually a victim, yo, that sucks, and I'm fucking sorry that happened to you. And if you need spiritual guidance, come on the live one of these times and you'll get complimentary spiritual guidance, of course. Those of us who are not victims, that this particular light code is for, who actually aren't a victim to something that we are afraid to truly acknowledge how uncomfortable it was, because we're worried that then we would start to perceive ourselves as a victim or for some reason. It's up to us to be able to say, wow, I got through that and I'm good and I know more now. And if you can do that, then those of the people in our communities and our friends who are actual victims will have a lot of extra energy and strength, and maybe we can help them. Maybe we can help. Maybe we can do our part to bring our love into the physical in our communities, and bring our love and find ways to love on our communities and love on the people around us, give to them. And in order to really get into that place where we can really give love into the physical and have ideas that are helping people, is when we're truly, 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 truly in that space of love for ourselves. Understanding the hard times that we've been through, even if they're not as bad as what someone else went through. Understanding what was the challenge. Understanding that you learned something from it. And you're not really a victim. You're okay. I'm good. Just because you're good doesn't mean you didn't go through something difficult. It just might mean that you survived it. Hallelujah. Maybe it's not something that would have killed you anyways. So you got through it. And because you got through it doesn't mean it didn't happen. You learned something. Remember, do not gaslight yourself. Whatever lesson you learned, please acknowledge it. Whatever challenge transformed you, please acknowledge your transformation. Because if you do not, Spirit will make you do it again and mess up again and learn the lesson again until you actually choose to acknowledge the lesson. I do feel I've expressed that light code adequately. Something about apologies. I do feel that it's great to be a good friend, and sometimes we fuck up. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we behave in a way where we perceive ourselves as a victim, or we're in an old trauma response, or we're going through something. And we're in a way with someone we love that we later regret. Apologize to them. And go on Google and Google like parts of a real apology, because there's actually like a 5 or 6 part apology, not just saying I'm sorry. If you really feel like you owe someone an apology, do not make your apology conditional on whether they apologize first. You know, like if you both did something fucked up to each other, if you know you owe someone an apology, be an example of the light. Don't wait for them to apologize first. Don't wait for them to be accountable first. Don't try and get them to be accountable and then you'll apologize. Don't tell them how hurt you are and then apologize. No. People are smart. People are intelligent. If they hurt you, they knew they did. But there must have been something else going on there that made them think it was okay. In abusive circumstances, that's not the case, but I'm actually talking about friendships right now. Friendships and people that we love. Sometimes we do fucked up things. And one of you has to apologize first. And in your opinion, you're like, this person did the big or bad thing, so I'm going to wait for them to apologize and then I'll apologize. But if they don't, then I won't. And I'm telling you that that's low vibrational. And I'm not judging you, I'm just telling you it's low vibrational. If they're not abusive, and y'all just had a moment, a human moment, and you're not apologizing, I recommend whatever has popped up in your mind here. We'll wait for the second part of this light code I'm about to give you first before you leave and take this advice, but definitely if you apologize, you'll be able to keep moving forward in your life. If they don't apologize, yeah, that means you might be moving forward without them, but you get to leave behind you a trail of light instead of a trail of shit. A bunch of people who are mad at you because you never apologize. Maybe they weren't privileged to grow up in an environment to understand what apologies are. Maybe their parents never apologized to each other. Maybe they didn't have parents. Maybe they never seen it. No one apologized to anyone in their whole damn life. And you apologizing to them, it's the first time that they ever experienced someone being accountable for something small. And they're like, oh my God, holy shit. That means I might owe them an apology. Let them. But maybe not. We don't know. We can't change someone. That's for them and God, them and their spirit. But we can leave behind a trail of light. So if you feel an apology is needed, if you feel like you're having one of those conditional apology moments where I'm only going to apologize if they apologize, bitch, if you think you owe someone an apology, fucking apologize. That's weird. And then move fucking forward and continue living your life and being love. On the other hand, I want you to know that if it's an energy exchange that was abusive, where a person was abusive to you. Now, you guys know this is spiritual guidance. So I'm coming to you, this is spiritual guidance, just a reminder in case someone just came in alive, spiritual guidance. If you were in a relationship with someone who was abusive, you do not apologize to them no matter what. Because when we apologize, we are opening up to someone and we are giving them access to more of our energy. And on some occasions, we are apologizing for something our inner child triggered within us. An inner child wound or insecurity was triggered. And so we did something that we later regretted. And so then we go to our friend or loved one who we truly care about and who's truly loving, and we just had a spat. And we apologize. In those moments, we're actually exposing inner child to them. So if the person you're going to apologize to actually isn't a loving person and is someone who is abusive, they will use that as an opportunity to further abuse you. I can almost guarantee it. To expose your inner child who's already been abused by someone back to that person, to apologize to them, will only have them abuse you more. How do I know if I should apologize? You don't know if you were abused or not? You don't know if you were abused or not. So you don't know if you should apologize? How do you know if something is abusive? I just read in the comments. My loves. My loves. You're going to have to ask Google that question. You need to know for yourself as an adult what abuse is. And if you don't know what your lines are, what your boundaries are, then I'll tell you right now, get some. What will you tolerate and what won't? You decide. Someone says a therapist, not Google. I meant the definition of abuse. Google the definition of abuse. So a lot of us have had a lot of different lives. And so now we're here in this current cosmic energy, and we're facing these profound moments of self-awareness and shadow work as we enter into the fifth dimension and the lower vibrational components of ourselves start to come forward. And as the lower vibrational components of ourselves start to come forward, sometimes instead of transmuting them and releasing them and being self-aware and changing and learning lessons through the releasing of these things and realizing that's not us and I gotta be different, that's not me, I gotta be different. And we apologize and we learn the lesson and we move forward. That's life. It's amazing. In other cases, we go through a challenging experience. We feel the profound shadow work. We understand that we want to be different, that we need to be different. And we don't believe that it's possible for us to be different. And because we don't believe that it's possible for us to be different, we don't change. And we don't take the lesson. And we don't learn the lesson. And we keep doing the thing and experiencing the pattern. Because we can't imagine what life would be like outside of the pattern. So I want you to know, if this resonates, and if you're feeling a pattern, if the pattern results in your suffering, then that's not your highest vibrational reality. That I want you to know there is a version of reality where you're not constantly suffering. Okay? We all do not have the luxury of choosing what body and life we incarnate into. And some of us incarnate into, well, we have a 50% power. It's like when you're up in source energy about to incarnate, you don't feel the pain of humanity when you're just the soul. You're like, oh, as a soul, you're like, yeah, I could take that shit. I could take it. And then you get here and you're like, this hurts my heart. Fuck, I fucking chose this shit. The fuck? So, some people in our collective are really suffering because they're being abused. And I feel like that's why it's especially important for those of us who are not being abused to step up and stop pretending that we're being abused and martyring ourselves to causes that we're not actually victims to, because we think somehow we can bypass our ways into Christhood, into being in the fifth dimension by claiming that we're a victim to something that we're not actually a victim to, because it's not actually abusing us, but creating a false narrative where we are a victim to something, and so then we suffer and we martyr ourselves to it. We spend all that strength and time in a false reality that we created for ourselves, when in all that time we could have actually been helping someone who actually needs fucking help, instead of martyring ourselves on our own ego trip. This makes me uncomfortable, so now I'm going to be a victim to it, and I'm going to create a whole narrative around it. And this is going to be what I'm obsessed with from now on. It's so selfish. Because we actually have people in the collective who are actually being abused, and they could really use a really good friend, or a really good neighbor, a really good community member. We don't even know how God might use us to help those who actually are victims, who actually are being abused. Because we can't. Spirit can't guide us, because we're too busy pity partying. So can you tell that these lessons that we're learning in this current cosmic discomfort, it's a delicate balance. It's a delicate balance between either straight up pretending like nothing happened because you're fine now, even though it was transformative, allowing yourself to be transformed and fine, or going the other direction and it was so transformative that it must have been abusive because it's forcing me to change. And how dare this experience make me feel like a bad person? How dare this person or experience make me do shadow work? I'm a victim to the self-awareness that has just been exposed to me. And then you martyr yourself to the person who has just exposed you for the self-awareness that you don't have. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you realize you did some shit, some stupid shit, just claim the loss and move the fuck on. Apologize, fuck it, don't apologize. Honestly, get good with spirit so you can help those of the collective who are suffering, is what I'm saying. Because then you don't have to hack the system, which is not going to work anyways, by martyring yourself to this person or place or thing that suddenly makes you feel like you're not a good enough person. So because you realize that you have more growing to do, because you realize you have more accountability needed, more personal growth work to do, you're now a victim to that fact. And now you're a victim and you're martyring yourself to that fact. And you're over-focusing on whatever party has caused you to realize that you've got more personal growth work to do. And you project the shame you feel on yourself for realizing that you're not who you thought you were. Instead of dealing with that and facing yourself and doing the shadow work, you project all that shame, not onto yourself where you really feel it, onto another party, onto that party that's making you feel self-aware in the first place. And you blame them because you don't want to do the shadow work. It's toxic, my loves. That's a toxic way of being. And spiritual people can do it too. Because I'm spiritual. I meditate though. I couldn't be a bad person. I meditate. We can all be bad people. We all fuck up sometimes. No one's perfect. Christ surely wasn't, I'm sure, from what he's told me. I'm cooler with his chick, honestly, and from what she's told me. So in these moments where we don't want to be accountable for the self-awareness that is being thrust onto us because of this current cosmic energy, as sometimes channeled by the people around us who hold us accountable or not, and we start to fight it, fight the self-awareness, fight the shadow work, fight the transformation, what's happening is we are holding on to something that is trying to release. Our human body actually wants to release emotional blocks that are held. And as they start to come up to be transmuted and the energy moves to be cleansed out through the earth and brought back into you, refreshed to be something else, you hold on to it. This holding on to it, that's one of those things that manifests the perpetual patterns of reactionary behavior. Because it's like every time it tries to come up, we don't just release it and learn the fucking lesson and move on. So we keep it and we hold on to it and keep it and we hold on to it. Every time you are feeling a feeling of pressure, a stress, no, more like a compression, not stress, a feeling of pressure or compression on your energy field, chances are that's you about to transform and trying to constipate it, trying to stop the transformation. You are very, very big. Your energy field is huge and bright. And your chakras can activate in a way that your entire energy fields can be healing for massive groups of people, even if they're not in the same geography as you, because we're all connected via the same quantum field. There are so many cool and sci-fi components to reality that are coming in the next years. But there's also an awareness of the darkness that is within ourselves and that is in our realities, and the fact that there are some people in our realities that have much more to deal with, much more darkness to deal with than others. And it's not our job to change them, to rush them, nor to judge them. We can be compassionate, we can hold space, and we can stay informed by receiving the data reality is actually giving us. Receive the data that Spirit is actually giving you, okay? Receive it, that the universe, that reality, not Spirit, not the universe, fuck it, I'm gonna be clear. Reality, in reality, you are receiving data. Let it inform you. Inform you so you can move forward in a way that is well informed, so you can continue to align with your well-being. As you receive data, it might be disappointing on some occasions because you may have some expectations or attachments to things working out a certain way. So when you reach that fork in the road, understand your only option is to go backwards or accept that things will not go the way you thought. Because if you think you can somehow manipulate things to make it go the way you wanted it to go, when you already see the data and the physical that it will not, that's when you're starting to be delusional, starting to be disassociated, working in false realities, martyring yourself to things that don't make no sense, creating your own conflicts and draining your own energy for what? So you don't have to transform anymore? You think you can bully the universe into giving you what you want? No. You think you can No, universe, I'm not eating until you give me the fifth dimension. Universe is like, die then. Fuck you. You think this is all about you? It's not. It's a big, big picture here. And those of us who are super blessed in very comfortable realities, who are playing victim to things, I feel like our spirits are over it. So if you feel that agitation in your spirit, like you've just been acting in a way that doesn't resonate, just take the loss. Just talk to the negative voice in your head and say, like, bro, shut the fuck up for once. You know we're blessed. There's actual people who are victims, who are being abused, and they might need our help. And know that if you are a victim and you are being abused, then we want to help you. And we're fucked up too. But we're trying to get unfucked up so we can find a way to make it through, to figure out a way to make reality feel like heaven on earth. Okay? Trying our best here. If you're suffering, we don't judge you. I don't think you manifested it. I don't think you're a low vibrational person. I'm sorry that you don't feel good. And I hope you feel better soon. And it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks to be bullied and more. Because I feel like that's the lowest form of abuse, right? Cool. I see you guys talking to each other in the comments. I love it. Please know I don't read your comments when I'm channeling messages. It's just too distracting. So sometimes a light code will come up within you, a personal growth moment, a self-awareness, a shadow work moment will come up within you several times before you're really ready to have the baby and like birth it and like realize like, oh my God, it's me. Just be compassionate. Know that sometimes that will happen. And I also want you to know that, how do I say this? Spirit. I want to remind you to advocate for yourselves. Advocate for yourself. No one knows what you're feeling. No one knows what you need, and you do. You're also a grown-up. So you don't need other adults to do anything for you. Yeah, it's true. Like if you need a surgery, you need a doctor. So please, do me a favor. Don't take these high vibrational, beautiful light codes and try and like nuance them into some weird like third dimensional like poison. But I need a mailman to bring me my mail. Oh, you're right. Do you feel very smart now? But I need a groomer to groom my dog. Oh, you're right. Do you feel smart now? You must not have received the first light code if you're one of those people who are saying that in this moment. Oh, and I will remind you. There's a difference between expectations that are consensual and expectations that are not. And if you've got your heart set on someone doing something, you're not being sovereign, nor are you respecting their sovereignty. You have no power over what any person does, and that's that. If you already paid the vet, and you get to the vet office, and he says, I'm sorry, we're all booked up today, you can't force him to treat your dog. Even though you gave him your money, still. He can say, well, I can give you your money back, or you can come back tomorrow when I have an opening again. I'm sorry, but this thing ran over. Even then, you can't force him. In a relationship, you told your lover, don't ever call me psycho. Whatever you do, don't ever call me psycho. And one day they slip and they call you psycho. What are you going to do? It's going to be real fucked up if you're hyper attached to expectations of other people's actions and behaviors, and hyper attached to other people, and you think you can somehow change other people. Everyone fucks up sometimes. Everyone does dumb shit sometimes. Please do not martyr yourself to things that are just people fucking up. And then again, if you're triggered by this, then you might be getting abused somewhere in your life, and so this might be triggering you because you're feeling gaslit. Because if you do not know if you're being abused or not, and then you're hearing someone say, get over it, that is gaslighting. Just to be clear. This is a message for those of us who are not being abused. I have to keep clarifying because I see people coming in and more people coming in, and so it's like I don't ever want someone to like, oh God, I see what's happening to Imani, and I just don't want to go through that shit. This is spiritual guidance. Okay, let's see how long I've been channeling. Oh, it's been an hour. All right, so let me go. Let me go, my loves. Don't hold on to old you. A lot of times we don't value ourselves. So make sure you're valuing yourself and you're really able to visualize the highest vibrational reality that you truly deserve, because you do deserve a beautiful, beautiful life in alignment with your heart. But you don't get to say how every bit and piece of it goes. You don't get to be God and make other people do things. But what you do get to do is choose what you do and how you are. And that is power. So how do you want to be? You get to be that way. You can experiment with yourself as much as you want. Experiment over and over and over again and try lots of different ways of being until you really feel like you're an expression of your spirit. But don't you ever infringe on the sovereignty of another and try and get them to be more like your version of them rather than God's version of them, which you have not seen and you will not see unless they choose to embody God's version of them. So hold space so they can do that. At the same time, please do not subvert your power to someone else. Do not give your sovereignty away. Do not sell your soul by believing that someone on the outside of you, someone besides your own soul, which is inside of you, knows what God wants for you more than your soul knows what the universe, what God wants for you. I promise you, even a psychic will not know what your soul feels like the way you do. That's it. Anyone who tries to convince you that they know better for you when it comes to your soul and what you know in your soul, know that sometimes we fuck up and we don't listen to our knowing. And let that be a lesson to listen to your knowing next time. If you know, you don't even need, not only do you not need someone to validate what you know in your soul if you know something. Again, this is spiritual guidance, so this is a spiritual knowingness for your own life. When I say know something, I mean know that something resonates with you. Know that something is in alignment with your well-being or not, in terms of vibrations and ways of being, behaviors, and also ways that we attach to things, ways that we choose to perceive things. Overall, the way that we utilize our energy and the behaviors that we embody, which are manifestations of our vibration and vice versa. So with that clarified, sometimes people are super fucked up and abusive, it's true, and sometimes people are just fucked up and fucking up, and it's not about you at all. So in those times when it's not about you, just get out of their way. And sometimes it's you, and you're making someone else's life more difficult, not because you're being abusive, maybe you are being abusive, but because you are going through something that's not about them, but y'all are in too close quarters, whether it's spiritually or physically, probably spiritually, too close quarters. And so you keep just fucking up and it's inconveniencing them. Apologize if that's the case. No one is perfect. Stop pretending that you don't have shadow, or that people don't have shadow, or that you're surprised that people are dark, that you're surprised that someone would fuck up, that you're surprised you have to take a loss. Stop that. When something is uncomfortable, embrace it, honor it. You made it through something transformative, embrace it, honor it. But if it didn't take you down, then it didn't take you down. That doesn't take away how transformative it was or how informative it was. And so we move forward in a way that is more informed. We free ourselves, we retract all of our attachments to all external everything, and we respect every single one of God's creations as one of God's creations, and we allow them to show us what God wants for them. And we support that, and as we build our relationships, we listen and we learn, and we support that. And that's what it's about. Not infringing on each other's sovereignty, but supporting each other, next to each other. I hope these light codes could help. I love you so, 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 so much. Felt really good to get all those out. Thank you everyone for holding space for me so that I could channel these messages uninterrupted. It was truly my pleasure, and it's truly my pleasure to do this work. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that on my website, lovesteadylife.com. If you'd like to join one of my guided meditations, you can do the same on my website. I also have several complimentary awakening resources on my website. If you're an empath, and you think that's a bad thing and you're an adult, I would recommend reading the article Tough Love for Adult Empaths. It's an introduction to your personal energy field. It is for adults only. That's a free article. You can find that on my homepage. I have the angel numbers page on my website, which is Doreen Virtue's resource before she went to the dark side. And there's also the Awakening Resources page, which is all my favorite gurus and astrologers and mental health professionals that help me out of my dark moments. So I hope they can help you. If you want to read the articles on my website, you can purchase them one at a time in my article portal, or you can purchase a membership, a gold membership, and you can get access to all my articles. And if you're a gold member, other amenities of membership include taking my guided meditation classes for free. So that's all the business side of things, in case you're new here, or you haven't seen me in a while, or maybe you forgot. And yay for us, and yay for that. Be compassionate with yourself, okay? I love you so much. I'm proud of you. And know that if you're under the age of like 26, you're gonna fuck up a lot, and you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. We all did. All of us over the age of 30, post-Saturn return, will say, every single one of us fucked up a lot. We made mistakes. And we had to get over it and move on and just take the fucking loss. Apologize, move on, or not. But we had to. And we made it to our 30s, to our 40s, to our 50s. So those of you who are in your early 20s right now, you're feeling afraid. You're feeling afraid to fuck up. Because reality is projecting that you need to be perfect onto you. I want you to know reality, everyone's fucked up a bajillion times. Ain't not one perfect person out there. So my beautiful, beautiful young souls. All souls, we're all young souls. I got a young soul, my swallings. Please. Fuck up. Try it. You don't want to live a life of regret. How do you want to be when you're on your deathbed? If you are so on a deathbed for the purpose of the image, when you're 1,000 years old, do you want to say, oh, I wanted to do all these things and I didn't do any of them because I was afraid of failing? Or can you say, I tried all these things? Were you good at it, great grandma? I was bad at all of them. But then when I was 65, at that point, I tried this other thing and I had a great time the whole time. Every time I tried something, I loved it, even if I failed. Why? Because I tried it and I knew. Some of these things, I tried it and I failed, and I realized it was because I was a beginner. I needed to get better at it. I needed to do more research. I still loved it, even though I sucked at it, and so I kept going at it and I got better. It's okay to be sloppy. It's okay to be ungraceful sometimes, ugly, an apprentice, a beginner level, starting something new. Even if you start off slow. Don't let fear of fucking up have you not even try, and then you manifest a life of regret. I love you. I hope that this reading could inspire you and uplift you. I thought the reading was over, and then I brought through another light code. I had to give us another little nugget. Have a beautiful day. I'm going to post this on my IGTV, and then in a couple days it'll go on YouTube too. So I'll see you later, my loves. Bye.